Culture played a huge part of the Canada Winter Games, and downtown Prince George was full of it during the event. From the nightly concerts on the BCLC stage to the food trucks and various tents, the Canada Games Plaza was always full of life. And perhaps one of the best ways for coaches, volunteers and athletes to meet people from all across the country was the pin trading craze.
The three-piece lobster is...
8-year-old Cage McCrory has pretty good taste in fashion. After only 2 days of collecting, he boasts a scarf full of Canada Games pins. He was way ahead of his dad, Len.
Pretty good so far.
Not quite as good as him.
The Yeti pin is just the latest in Cage's quest for every pin. The three-piece Nova Scotia lobster is another favorite. It's been a labor of love for the father-son duo.
It's been hours of fun, and he has been socializing with all the athletes and coaches.
I've been going with athletes, coaches, and mostly one of my other favorites is this because it's got all the sports on it.
The mecca of pin trading is at the corner of 7th Avenue and Canada Games Way. It's where the second wave of athletes will go to begin their pin trading adventures.
In Nova Scotia have the new boatload of lobsters coming in, so there's new pins coming in. But it'll be pin frenzy again. It'll pick up Sunday, Monday again, and it's always an exciting time with the new athletes.
The Spectator Services pin has been a hot commodity during the games. Everyone wants to meet the man known simply as Dave. He was immortalized in pin form without even knowing it.
My director of sport and venue operations, Phil Bolio, comes by, and he's just got this grin on his face. I have no idea what's going on. And he's just chuckling, walking up to me, hands this mock of this pin, and it's this big one of my face here, and basically says, it's already done. There's already 500 made.
The downtown was also full of life and culture, with a number of local visual artists participating in the event. It was all in conjunction with the Community Arts Council, and a legacy has now been left behind. A closer look inside the front window of Northern Hardware shows artist Carla Aubuchon-Joseph hard at work on a painting about an old First Nations story called Turtle Island.
I'm Métis and my husband's Coast Salish. So I try to teach our children the two styles, so that's why I'm always mixing. Well, a lot of my pieces, I mix them together.
Painting comes easily to Aubuchon-Joseph, and she is able to work quickly on her pieces, which include a number of colorful panels that adorn the store's windows.
It's called Artnerships, and our goal was to match 15 artists with 15 local downtown businesses and have the artists be showcased and featured within the business. So if you walk around downtown, you'll see quite a few artists being featured in the front windows of 15 different businesses.
The artist is also showing her work through the Winter Games at the Clet-Les-Tenay Pavilion and is happy with how much exposure she's getting.
It was just to get my art more out there. So a lot of people have came to where I'm set up at the pavilion to tell me how they just loved the display at the Northern. So I've been getting a lot of different people, like from different places, seeing my art, so it's getting out there.
After the games are over, the Arts Council is looking to continue to paint the downtown with visual art, now focusing on empty buildings.
The next step with that program is we're going to be taking the artist's work into the vacant buildings. So instead of vacant windows that are boring and dismal, you're going to see artwork showcased in all of them.
It's empty now, but every night during the games, the plaza was filled with people, many of them taking in the entertainment on the BCLC main stage. Perhaps one of the best attended events was Alan Doyle's concert, the great Big C frontman who has just released a solo album.
So here in Prince George was the first time I ever honestly thought that we might be onto something. The first time I was ever in British Columbia, ever played in British Columbia, was here, the Great Big C in 1995. And we got added to a bill over at UNBC. We didn't even have a drummer at the time. It was just us and our little accordions and whistles and stuff. And all these dudes were coming out of like lumber camps and stuff, I suppose, getting ready for the big Friday night out with the boys, like all these metal bands and heavy rock and roll bands. And we went on stage, and I said, "This is where we'll die. This is the day we find out that we're kidding ourselves." But the opposite happened.
I'll ask you again. Are you ready?
I love it because it's a coming together. That's all. You know, it happens to be about sports, which is great, and I'm a big fan of that, and I'm a big fan of like fitness and you know, activity, especially for younger people and stuff like that. And it's also such a cool way for people, because I'm from the extremes of the country, right? You know, and it's always difficult to learn firsthand what other people are doing your age and different stuff. So this is a great time to get people together and to celebrate the country and to celebrate, you know, physical activity and a good night out.
Watching the sand fall, get you.
This one is much more of a pop record, a bit more all over the place. But in the show, we do a whole bunch of stuff from my records, a whole bunch of stuff from the Great Big Sea catalog, some Newfoundland traditional music, some rock and roll stuff. It's a real varied kind of concert, all to make a great night out.
I believe in every bright smile that I face. Keep on coming, 'cause I'm feeling the same way. Turn it on and off we go.
I always hope for one singular thing, and that's that they're having the greatest night of their life. That's all I ever shoot for. Nothing less than that.
As part of the Cold Snap Festival, noon-hour workshops were held, including one with main stage act Banda Baja. The translation from the French means good riddance, and the group wants their audience to say good riddance to the blues and simply enjoy their music.
Lights that are in here because the fluorescents go off.
Let me tell you a little bit about Banda Baja. They're from Montreal. It's most cosmopolitan cities in North America. And while remaining true to their roots, the three musicians who are equally passionate about music are drawing on living traditions and various influences to explore new avenues.
The group is from Montreal, and they are a folk group, and they are true to their the past and Cajun music a little bit, Irish tone, and they do a lot of jig, and it's really dynamic.
We get rid of sorrow, we get rid of sadness, we get rid of bad things in life, you know, when we play music. So we hope you will enjoy that show, et j'espère que ça va être contagieux pour vous autres autant que ça l'a été pour nous. It's a pleasure to share to you our passion of traditional music.
Whole games, we have made sure that there was French services, and that's why it's so important that we also have artists, musicians, singers that come from all over Canada that can give a French performance.
With thousands of locals and visitors taking in the plaza during the games, CKPG News wanted to be a part of it all. Each weeknight, our 5 o'clock newscast was aired live from the foot of the library steps. Here's some of the highlights.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We're taking you now to our Pine Centre Mall live cam overlooking Canada Games Plaza, where people are starting to gather for tonight's festivities. With thousands more people in town these days, local RCMP have made a plea to motorists. Police are asking drivers.
memorable moments from the 2010 Olympics was John Montgomery chugging a beer after his big gold medal winning performance. We can't do beer, Emily's just 17, but we have lined up some 1% milk, so shall we? Look at this. Let's enjoy this. Maybe get a cheer from the crowd. Cheers to you.
All right. Go for it.
She's drinking the whole thing. That's unbelievable. 3 medals for Emily Dixon at the Canada Winter Games, and she finished it off. Cheers to you. Now,
the lifeblood of the games is the volunteer group, and the Green Jackets are a symbol of hard work, dedication, and many, many hours to make these games a success.
Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great night.
Take care.